So I'm a co-founder of Te Whare Hukahuka. Te Whare Hukahuka is a social enterprise. We have the vision to improve the lives of 10 million Indigenous people. We've been doing that for 8 years. We used to be the Māori unit at the Ice House. For those that know the Ice House, which is a business incubator in Aotearoa. Shay Wright, my co-founder, and I started Te Whare Hukahuka about 5 years ago. And we've been working in Te Ao Māori. We do basically, these are some of the things that we've done. We've trained with 1,000 Māori leaders. We've been working for 8 years in Te Ao Māori. We've won 4 awards for our different types of programs that we've got going. Basically, what we do are 4 things. We work with Māori collectives and Māori SMEs on business strategy, and that's just a fancy way for saying where you are today to where you want to be in the future. And we help you figure out that plan. We also do governance training for Māori collectives. So we do a Māori governance training. So we're not like the Institute of Directors. Ours is grassroots built up to suit our collectives. The third thing that we do is e-commerce for Māori. And this is the current drive that we've got going on. We've had a huge uptake. Most recently, we have our program, which is called Kahao I Te Ao, which teaches governance over 3 months part-time. And we've just launched our next rōpū, which is 70 Māori SME business owners from around the motu, learning that knowledge. And then the last thing that we do is Māori SME business coaching. So that's one-on-one coaching, looking at, from an entrepreneur's perspective, looking at how you can grow your business. What I wanted to do is, that's enough about us. I just want to talk about some of the advice that we're giving out across the motu to Māori SME owners. So this is if you're a SME owner. We basically have 4 key pillars of recommendations that you do to survive and thrive in the recession. And this is the precluding thing to this is, or our assumption is that you've made all the efficiencies and cuts that you can in your business. But the most important thing is cost cutting and efficiencies will not save you in a recession. What saves you is innovation and sales and marketing. And I know this in the previous recession in 2013, I had 2 businesses which I had to steer through. And this is what I learned. So there are 4 things, and they're in this order. If I were you, I would retain your existing customers. So whoever you've been selling your products to, get on the phone, make contact with them, and ask them if there's any way that you can help them. And by this connection, you'll strengthen those relationships. But that's not enough. That's just the first start. The second thing that you should do is focus all your sales effort on finding the key influencers in your market niche. So the key influencers are those that have large groups of your ideal customers, your ideal target market. So you want to work with whoever has those key influencers, and they may be on Facebook, they may be on social media, they may be the Hawke's Bay Business Hub. You want to walk with them and join and create a partnership with them to access their followers and promote your services or products to them. The third thing, which is really, really important, we've seen this right across the motu, not just in Hawke's Bay, but e-commerce. You need to be on e-commerce. It's growing. And a year-on-year comparison that came out of New Zealand Post in their latest e-commerce study, which is only just released, it showed that e-commerce grew by 30%. So it's a massive growth right across New Zealand. And the average order value grew to $107. So what the average order value is, when people come into your shop, how much they purchase. So that's increased to $107 over the COVID period, which is massive. If you imagine every customer coming in and purchasing $107 off you, it doesn't take long before it really grow. And then the other thing is, I found some stats around Hawke's Bay. There's been a massive growth in the Hawke's Bay. Like, it's 71% increase in e-commerce growth. So, that's a really good place for you guys to be playing, and that's a massive recommendation. But there's some interesting things about it. When you're building an e-commerce, there's a myth out there that if you just build a website, then you're going to make lots of money. It's just not true. And so we have to dispel that myth. What we teach is to build an e-commerce system. And the system has 3 parts to it. It has something called traffic in the front end of your system, which is how you get people into your store. The second thing is you have a store or website that converts customers that come into it into sales. And the third thing is you have something called an autoresponder, which is a software tool that helps you send out emails. And the goal is to build a relationship with your customers that have come into your store and to get them to come back in to purchase. So if you're going into e-commerce, build an e-commerce system, not a website like everyone says. And I can go more into that in the next slide. The last bit of advice we're giving across the Motu is after you've done all those first things, then the other option that you have is to pivot into an adjacent market. And an adjacent market, what that means is something that's close to you, something that you can do that's easy to do. And when you pivot into an adjacent market, it's not your products or services that you're selling into another market. It's actually your skills and capabilities. So for example, if you were in forestry working and you're pruning and you are part of a pruning gang, then the pivot could be taking your skills and your capabilities and pruning and offering a service that goes around Hawke's Bay pruning homes and pruning all the trees in homes. That's just a small example. So in summary, this is broadly the 4 key pillars that we recommend for Māori businesses to survive in this recession. The last thing I want to do is I want to go back into e-commerce, because what we're seeing with a lot of our Māori clients, those that have pivoted into e-commerce are making significant amounts of revenue. They're increasing. And to get into e-commerce, what we had to do is for 2 years, we studied 24 e-commerce gurus. And as we were studying all these e-commerce gurus, which are practitioners, they're not theorists, they actually had businesses that generate between 7 to 8 figures, so multi-millions of dollars. And we noticed a few things about them. They had all built similar systems. And that's those 3 things: traffic, store that converts, autoresponder. They all had those. And the 24 e-commerce gurus, they all had some similar things in their business plan. They had this thing called a value ladder, which is a way that you ascend your customer by selling them something cheap in the front end, and then you upsell them to something for $27, and you upsell them to something for $299, and then $2,000, and then $25,000. So you're getting a customer into your value ladder and you're upselling them. They all did this thing. They all knew who their customer avatar was, who to focus on. So those are some of the similar characteristics they had in their business plan. They also did some similar things in their business strategy and similar things in the operational tactics. Normally, we used to run a course on this for $500 for our clients, but I've put a link in here, which you guys can get, and I'll send this over to the Ropu hosting, and you guys can click in there and you can get this for free, because I created 5 podcasts, which are short 20-minute podcasts, unpacking each of these things. And if you listen to them, and then that's your roadmap to create your e-commerce, your successful e-commerce system. And we're giving that away for free. Thanks, Whānau.